My prediction for 2026 for engineers working in the field is I think we all need to go back to school. I think technology and the advancements of technology, I think AI come stepping in and doing a lot of the work for us is kind of leaving us in the dust. I think we're getting passed by technology wise faster than before. And because of that, I think it's time for us all to go back to school. I don't know if it's necessarily learning, getting a new, another degree, or becoming data flow experts like you were talking about,
Hmm.
or just taking like a seminar or taking some free classes from like Harvard or MIT or whoever. I think we're going to have to go back to school to keep pace with how technology is evolving. Because I mean, we're getting blown past. Here's the thing. I don't think we wanted to go back to a simpler time. We all want AI to go away, but it's not going away. To quote the cliche I hear everybody say, the genie's out of the bottle. We can't put it back in.
If you take a look at the statistics, a significant number of projects that are in trying to employ AI are failing. And likewise, the kinds of results that you're going to be getting are potentially, problems with either security or efficiency or other things like that. And it's very important that you have a human in the loop that can actually take those things into account. I've actually been playing with it quite a bit, and yes, it is quite valuable, but it is also something you have to keep a very close eye on.
The important thing to realize is that this crop of students I was teaching was in the electronics engineering technologist program. So they are the hands-on people. They're the ones that turn the wrenches, that use the soldering irons. No LLM is ever going to do that. And it's always been a reality where, graduating electrical engineering students, there's a good 20%. My son went to University of Illinois. A good 20% of his class, these are 4.0 high school kids when they went into the program at a
Hmm.
top school. And 20% could not find jobs in the field. And that's been going on for years.
This is why I think kids in college, new engineers, even old engineers, need to go back to school to educate themselves to be that senior person, to be that learned in whatever facet the company needs. That's the only way to stay relevant, I think. Otherwise, they're going to end up like you're saying, or like Andy's saying, or Bill's saying, like a lot, like 40 years ago they were ducks out of water. Well, now it's even more so. It's the same thing, right? They need to be experts when they come into the field. That's the old joke. Like entry level jobs need, 5 years experience, right? you know, that's that's what I think. I think they need to educate themselves to become that expert.
Why does going back to school for additional education better prepare them for these increasingly complex jobs? Like if their initial run through an engineering program at a university isn't doing a great job of preparing them, what will going back to school sort of do for them? I'm just kind of curious your thoughts.
Okay, well, going to school in general has one purpose, right? You get your general education, and then you go for a master's degree. You focus. You go for a PhD. You focus. You keep focusing down till you're to a point where you're like an expert at some sort of thing, And I think that a lot of engineers that I talk to and stuff like that, yeah, they know stuff, but they don't know the latest stuff. To put it simply, I think that going to learning how to use LLMs in a root case would be beneficial for them in their career going forward because well that's what everybody wants to use and that's the hot thing right now. I remember when I was in college, I said, well, I forgot there was like a hot thing. I don't know what it was. I want to say some language was like the hot thing at the moment, and everybody jumped on it. And then, of course, then the field got glutted with all these experts of that particular thing, whatever it was, and then they had to move on to something else. Well, anyways, to answer your question is you want to become an expert at a thing, and if you can't do it with actual physical world experience and years in the industry, the only way to do it is through education. So you just educate your way all the way to the top.
The trick is, can you be self-taught with respect to the AI tools that you're going to be using, or do you need additional you know, assistance, training, whatever. That's going to be an interesting balancing act because the big problem right now with AI is it's changing so rapidly. And it is also extremely focused. One of the articles I was trying to finish up here was actually taking a look at the large number of chatbots that are out there and all the different kinds. There are literally ones that are focused on just generating code. There are other ones that are working in areas like medicine and research and so on. And each one of those things, you know, has certain advantages, but they're significantly different. You know, ChatGPT is just one of literally dozens of things that are out there. And you don't necessarily want to put something like that into some products because of the way it changes, you know, especially in our industry where we're talking about embedded systems that are supposed to be around and stable for 20 years or more. You know, if you know, the next version of ChatGPT is in your uh, piece of software or whatnot, and all of a sudden it changes and it's not giving the same answers as before, you might be in trouble.